taky, super, super. Jo, tak jsem v té 107. Jo, 107. Jo, super. Výborně, čau. Tak pan docent do Efler dorazil z nějakého důvodu na čas. Je tady. Takže dobrý. Tak tomu nerozumím.
So, hello everybody, can you hear me? Is it necessary to have the mic? Is it okay like that? No. Apparently I have to have it. Okay. So I welcome everybody that is here, and apparently there are some people connected online. That's why I need the mic, right? Okay, so I welcome all our students studying in the English programs. There are some of you that I know because you've been here for the master degree studies, and there are others which are continuing from the autumn, and some have just arrived. Is that right? Good. So we have a system of signing into the design studios, which is a little bit like a market. And it's a traditional system that has been going on for 30 years. So what is very nice is that the design studio teachers are presenting their programs, and you can sort of choose. But of course, it's not easy to get into all the design studios that you choose. So you should think about like 2 or 3 that you would be interested in. It's a little bit different for the exchange students because they can choose anything at all, anything they're interested in. They can even choose more design studios according to your credits, according to your plan that you came here with. For the master degree students, there are many limitations. They have to pass certain types of projects. And for instance, landscape architecture design studios can be chosen only as a optional design studio, but not a requisite design studio for those that are studying architecture and urbanism, okay? You will see 2 of the landscape design studios presented by, I think it's Mr. Sitta and Mr. Rehwaldt, okay? So those 2, it's okay for the exchange students, but watch out for the master degree students if you really have a optional design studio in your study plan. This system of presentations is very nice for us. First of all, our system is that there are quite not that many students in the design studio. There's a maximum of 24. The Czech people, the Czech students and the foreign students are mixed together. So in some studios, it's English that is dominant. In other studios, it's maybe Czech, but you will always get your feedback in English. That's no problem. We're proud to have our design studio leaders practicing architects. We consider that necessary, and I know it's not the case in many other countries, that they have to have their own office, they have to have experience in really doing projects and realizing it, because we consider the practical experience very important for teaching. So maybe you will find out that we don't do that many concept designs, because we're focused very much on things that you can really use in your life, in your practice. That is, again, a little bit different between Prague and other countries, because there are many teachers that are very intellectual, very conceptual, and we don't really choose those for our design studios. It's a tradition, again, in this country. We are a small country, quite a small country, so our students of architecture, urbanism, and landscape architecture have to have an overall knowledge of the built environment. We do not specialize our master degrees in, for instance, urbanism or development or whatever. We just have it all together. So that can be different from your own school too. You're getting a very solid, very grounded experience on which you will be able to build your whole life. And that is the mission and the sort of the spirit behind what we have here. I am the person that if you have any questions that Jarka cannot answer, because she's the coordinator of the exchange students. There's Kristina for the master degree students. There's another lady taking care of the master degree students. But if your questions are somewhat not usual, it's me. And they go to me from Jarka or from Kristina. And I'm there in the back, even though you don't really see me in the back, okay? So I hope you enjoy your stay in Prague. I mean, spring is very special here. It comes maybe in March. So in a couple of weeks, you'll see spring. And the moment the sun comes out, it's hot very fast. We're a continental climate, and it's the best time of the year. So I hope you really enjoy Prague and you enjoy your studies, and welcome. Who's the first teacher? Efler. Tomáš Efler, he's a special one. He does reconstructions. Watch out. I mean, 21st century is about reuse, reconstruct, recycle. So he's very important.
Thank you, Irena. Thank you very much for this introduction. So, good afternoon. Welcome in Prague. Welcome in our faculty. And I'm glad that I can present the first our design studio on monument care and architecture conservation topics. We are the Department of Monument Care and Architecture Conservation, and mostly heritage of architecture. And in this term, thank you. In this term, our department is specialized for not only restoration, but mostly all the practices with existing buildings, architecture, constructions, and so on, mostly connected with our towns and villages. The Czech Republic, there is a really big heritage of architecture of last centuries. And in our design studio, Efler, it's a studio of vernacular architecture, heritage design studio. We focus for topics mostly in countryside, in small towns, villages. So you can visit with us one of the region that I will show after a while. These are some specialization of our previous terms. So each term we visit a different region of Czech Republic with group of students like you, and we make the documentation and the research in villages and towns and connected with specific architecture, connected with the specific regions, and so on. These are the topics from the previous years, and this is the actual one. It's the very special name, Postoloprty. Postoloprty. It's a Czech name of a small town in western or northwest of the Czech Republic. It's connected with the landscape of hops. It's a special plant that is necessary for producing and making beer. And you know, beer is so important for Czech people, so that the hops has to be so important too, because it's a very important part of it. And this is the landscape of hops. And the landscape became now the UNESCO site this year. It's really a fresh event that Žatec and the surrounding with the Postoloprty became the UNESCO site. Because of this heritage of hops production, agriculture, and architecture too. And in this very old town that we offer you our topics, we'll visit it and we'll working on different types of topics connected with this old town with very long history and big importance in the previous centuries. You can see there is really a huge history from the really basis of our nationality, so that some of the old legends of our Czech people, Czech nation, they are connected with Postoloprty, because one love story from the 10th century between one village girl and Duke of Oldřich. There was it took place directly in the Postoloprty next to the river. Yeah? So it's really the basis of some legends are connected with the Postoloprty. And on the right side you see the hops harvest. Yeah? So it's very actual, and it's going over the centuries. And these are some topics that we'll be working on, connected with castle, farmyards, old farmhouses, some empty plots in the center of the small town. And I will shortly show you only the pictures of these monuments, mostly the castle from the Baroque time, the huge farmyard, everything is abandoned and without use. Old brewery area, it's the production of beer, naturally. And these are some contemporary architecture from second part of 20th century. This shopping mall, big question what to do with it. You can work with public spaces in the center of the town, or with some existing farmhouses that they are abandoned without use, but with a big perspective, for the tourism connected with UNESCO site, and with the connection between Prague and Germany, because there is the connection by highway preparing, and it's in the middle of this connection. So the locality and the region is very interesting. I hope you will be participating with us on some of these topics. We offer some other topics, mostly individual projects, so only shortly show you the big choose that you can really design different types. For example, other farmyard next, very close to Prague, in Křivoklát region. It's a huge farm area, or some rectories, old wooden houses in the countryside, or especially it's a architecture competition for new roof on this castle in Brno. Brno is the second biggest town or city in Czech Republic, so the castle and big competition on the roofing of this place. And and these are some other topics connected with agriculture and planting and the business with hops in the Žatec region. So yes, I don't know if it is functional. I can't move more. So thank you. If you can go very slowly through these other pictures, it will be. Yes, these are some special. This is special topic, these two buildings in Prague. So if someone is interested about contemporary architecture and conservation of architecture of second part of 20th century, these two buildings of telephonic exchange building can be part of your work too. There will be a workshop. We can participate with other design studios on this topic. So if you want to try to reuse, adaptive reuse of these type of really strange type of buildings, so it's another option. Yeah, sorry. Part of our work is visit in Český Krumlov. We have the workshop there. We are working there in the castle area. And at the end, is the invitation for our first meeting. This is this afternoon at 5 o'clock. It's in the 5th floor, the room number 552. So if you are interested, so please subscribe into the website system and come personally to visit us and to become a part of our group. So if you have some other questions, I hope I will answer the questions upstairs during the meeting. And now I think it's enough. So thank you very much and have a nice day.
Hi, I'm Jan Tuma from Studio Soukenka, and basically in our studio we have a special passion or orientation that we are focused on buildings and intervention projects basically related with arts and culture. We are not pure blood architects, so we have some reasons to do so. And in mark what Mrs. Fialová said, in mark of the fact we are on Czech Technical University, we try to a little bit give more space to this, let's say, creative part of the business. So we work on the concepts, not just the purely concepts. It's based on on our practices. But if you want to try something a bit more creative, maybe we can try together. And last few semesters, we were exploring the connection of industrial context and the cultural content, so basically cultural intervention and projects in mark of the industrial areas or buildings. For example, last semester, we made some performing centers for the abandoned quarry. And for this semester, let's say the scale is a little bit smaller, but I suppose not less attractive. So we aim to do exposition extension in a water tower. You see it on a picture. It's a very specific one because it lies between in Rodnice nad Labem, which is 50 kilometers from Prague, between the biggest Czech river, Elbe or Labe, and the railway, and under another famous Czech, let's say, landmark. It's a mountain or hill, Říp. And so basically this water tower intended to be extension of the Podřípské Museum, you see. And the clue for this assignment or clue for this extension is that there is some funny exposit in this museum, and it's like a mechanical model of this mythical mountain, Říp. And you see in the model the connection of the railway landscape and also some like a technical. It's like a playful. It's from one Czech Mercury. It's like a Lego, Czech Lego. So it's very local and typical for us. And for us, this kick us to this intervention, basically this funny exhibit. And we aim to have a holistic approach to the whole project. So we are a department of interior, so we are not just focused on the shell of the building, but we also aim to create some like emotionally and effective environment inside the building. So the building itself is not like in the case of Studio Efler, it's not culturally protected. So basically you can do anything with the existing building. Anything with extension, we are like unlimited in this case, and the core or the aim is to create this beautiful dialogue between the new and the old, it means you don't have to destroy the old to build something which brings some new qualities to the locality or which have some emotional inside. And I try to stay in the limit. So definitely we will provide you much more information about the assignment, how we do in our studio and everything. You have a few possibilities. You can contact me via email. But the first enrollment and assignment meeting will be today after the presentation, let's say at the 4 p.m. in our studio in the 5th floor, 503. And hope to see you in there. And if not there, enjoy your stay in our university. Thank you.
The studio of Šestáková Dvořák.
Hello, everyone. Well, I'm going to present to you the assignment of our studio, Šestáková Dvořák, which focuses on the design of buildings for social care, accessibility buildings, and the issues of social inclusion. For this upcoming semester, we have prepared the project in Karlovy Vary, the most famous and let's say the most visited spa town in Czechia, and it was done in cooperation with the Office of Architecture of the city Karlovy Vary. With this assignment, we also built upon the previous winter semester theme of densifying the spa center. The aim is to support living in the city center. And we focus on 3 streets in the heart of the spa district, and we pick up several gaps in those streets of IP Pavlova. Sorry. It's quite interesting to go backwards. Again, okay, IP Pavlova, Ondřejska, and the third is pod Jelením skokem. As you could see before a while, those gaps are of several sizes and characters. And we are going to visit Karlovy Vary at the beginning of the semester, and after that you will choose one of those gaps to solve, to work on with your individual project. The goal of your projects is to transform those gaps into places offering supportive day social services such as children or Center for Children and Youth, community center for elderly or disabled, community canteen, or halfway house, let's say a transition into normal life for those who find themselves in a difficult life situation. And also it would be up to your decision what function will you choose to work on. Well, now the last slide. If you are interested in this assignment, please visit us and come to the first studio meeting today at 5 p.m. in the room 545. Thank you for your attention.
Hey, the studio of Klokočka is coming.
So good afternoon. My name is Jiří Klokočka, and I have a studio of urban planning and design, let's to say. And I have maybe some strange assignment in the meaning of imagine that the European Union worked larger and larger in the in the direction of east, then it's maybe not so strange an idea or hypothesis that Prague is becoming the capital of Europe. Because as you know, the Europe is started with Benelux. It means Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And then it was logic that Brussels will be the center. But I have some hypothesis or idea, but it's of course fictive. But I would like to make a research with you about the consequences for such a decision for Prague. You can see a little bit how it went larger and larger, the Europe. And now when we take the east part of it's now. So in fact, the Balkan, Yugoslavian republics and Ukraine, Georgia and Moldavia, they are asking to be a member. So it will be larger and larger in the direction of east. You can see here even in some Renaissance picture, and I don't know how can I do it. This is Prague. This is the Czech. It are the Czech countries, and you see, I don't know if it is heart or stomach, but anyway, it's central in this, let's to say, personification of Europe. But I will go now very quickly because I have too much slides. It's just only to give you an imagination about the. I don't know if you know this picture. It is the blue banana. It's in fact the most industrialized part of Europe. And you see the Czech Republic is also not so far from it. Oh, this is some symbol. So in fact is the issue or the assignment to look how we can, all the institutions, this not only the European Commission, the Parliament and the Council, how you can integrate it in the city of Prague, and of course with the, how to say it, with the honor to the parts of Prague which has to be preserved and which you cannot, there are different scenarios, different principles, different possibilities, and I would like to work on it, just only to have some. I don't know why it doesn't work. Yeah, this is what I say. In fact, some scenarios, special and functional, maybe as examples. In Brussels, for example, is this the historical center of Brussels? And all European institutions are developed in such a strip which were former royal gardens. This is, for example, in Rabat, where the Dutch architecture studio Meccano designed administrative buildings just up of the station. Oh, sorry. This is the case of Antwerp, where all the buildings which can be a little bit difficult in the historical center are concentrated around the highway ring around the city. Oh, this is the same picture, but more in detail. And maybe in Prague also it could be between the inner and outside circle of which is not yet finished, but which can be used maybe as a zone for such institutions. Because there are very much, how to say it, many and many square meters needed to realize it, even if it is fiction. But I have from Brussels all the informations. These are some contemporary or actual big projects in Prague. Maybe it can be connected to it. And also in this thinking and discussions, I hope we will have in mind the important issues important issues which are now very actual to think about. So how to say it? My approach is that it could be some urban laboratory which we will try different possibilities, different concepts, and then to make some comparison. I have already, let's to say, support from IPR Prague, it's the Planning Institute of Prague, from Brussels, from different institutions, from New European Bauhaus, and let's to say we appointed some free cooperation with the studio of Maas, which is here at school active. And this is, I think, all. I don't know. Yeah, this is. Here I made a little mistake, but you will excuse me, I hope. The second information is not Monday 19, but Thursday this week. It is not mistake, but I was thinking I would not can come on Thursday, but I can. So let's to say this is not, let's to say today and Thursday at 2 o'clock in my studio. So thank you very much.
Můžu vám říct za 5 minut? 5 minut, jo, můžu vám říct. Jo, akorát tamte si prosím mikrofon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Šindlerová, and I am head of the studio with my name. We are the studio which is specializing in urban design, urban planning, spatial planning. That's why our assignments are, of course, focusing on assignments from the field of study of urban planning and urbanism. In our studio, the big advantage is that we have our own handbook of urban planning studios assignments, which lead you through the whole relative complex work of and elaborating processing of urban planning assignments. Also, who of you would like to elaborate the urban design and urban planning assignments? You are welcome in our studio, of course, generally. And our studio is also specializing in transport planning and transport infrastructure, and the assignments which are linked to transport infrastructure. And for each, it is too slow. I press, but it doesn't move. Yeah. And for each semester, we prepare the assignments of urban and spatial development around railways, metro, tram lines, and so on. And for this semester, we selected very actual topic of modernization of the railway connection between Prague. Here is the edge of Prague. We are somewhere here in Davice. It is the western part of Prague, western edge of Prague, and the railway connection between Prague and Kladno, which is the biggest Middle Bohemian town with around 70,000 inhabitants, and in between the whole region, which is, of course, very intensive developed with suburban development, mostly of residential, but also of commercial activities. And there is an existing railway which connects Prague with Kladno, but it is planned to modernize it to the high-speed train with very, very good and very fast connection between the Kladno and Prague. And we would like to focus on the impact of this investment to the surrounding, to the cities, towns which are located on this railway connection, how it could totally redefine the relationship between the peripheries of the towns and the historical cores and the system of public spaces, and all the impacts of the modernization and attractiveness of new attractiveness of the railway connection from the suburbs to Prague city center. So this is one of the assignments. The railway connection exists, but it should be modernized and developed into the high-speed railway. Those are the visualizations of the railway as it, but without the solution of the impact to the cities and to the urban structure. So this is one of our assignments for the semester. I have many pictures there, the aerial photos of the areas where we will work with our students, and in our studio are Czech and also foreign students usually. So those are the pictures of the existing locations where is the railway and where should be developed the new activities around the new stations of the high-speed train connection. But it is too slow, the slideshow, sorry for that, because we have one additional topic. It doesn't work. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, maybe. Pardon? Yo, I think there is bad signal. Yeah. Maybe the batteries are old. This one. Also, yeah, it's better. Also, those are different photos of the different location, the points where should be the new stations. And the second topic is very similar to that. It is in the city of Benešov, which is 50 kilometers from Prague. And it is also located on the railway, and around the railway station is a big, huge development area of former military barracks, and we will focus on the whole city, and with special focus on this area of the former military area alongside or around the railway station in Benešov. So it will be two very similar topics in two different places in Middle Bohemian region. More information in our informative meetings in our studio 702 today after the presentation 5 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday, on Thursday. All informations you have also in our websites. So you are welcome in our studio. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jan Tesař, and I am a head of studio Tesař and Barla. And every summer semester, we focus on some public buildings, and we try to open topics which are not nice or at least pleasant for the people. So, for instance, last year, we were, during the summer semester, designing a place for the last farewell. So we were talking about the topic of death. We have something pretty, I would say, similar for this semester, and the topic is waste. Waste Hořín. Hořín is the place where we're going to design your proposals. So the aim is to find what to do with the waste, because everybody knows we have a lot of waste around us. So that's the aim. And first of all, I would like to introduce the place, which is called Hořín. Actually, it's going to be one condition if you would like to apply to our studio to pronounce it correctly. Same with my name. So the Hořín is a small town close to historical town Mělník, which is north 1 hour far away from Prague. Here you can see this is existed junkyard, actually the place to collect waste to sort it. Next to it there is an old gamekeeper lodge, and this nice forest over here. So the borders of our plot is the red line. So it's pretty big. So you have a wide field of designing. a little bit closer. And now to get some feelings how it looks like directly on the site. What's actually behind? We have a few assignments. The first one is called experimental house, but it's not necessary to be design a house. It can be even a libretto. It's up to you, so you can design some conceptual ideas, write in a book or whatever about the waste, or design the house, which can introduce the new ways how to work with the waste and how to work with recycling materials. And then we have another assignments which are more common, normal, so you can design the technical facilities, administrative building, or some accommodation for the company. We will cooperate with the owners of this junkyard, and it's about to transform this junkyard into the center of recycling materials, of recycling waste. And because the borders were pretty wide, I'm talking about the borders of the plot, so you can design also whole area as an urban project. And I think that architecture is not one-man show. That's why we cooperate with other people in our studio. Matěj Barla is my assistant. Each semester we have some guests in our studio. Today it's gonna be young architects Vojtík and Jan Kalivoda. They are Ovenos Progress Architects company, and they design a facility center in Lisolaje, which is 10 minutes far away from our faculty. The new building as a facility center for the city of Lisolaje. So we are invited for the excursion to that building. And there will gonna be opponents during your presentations. Then we cooperate with first 4 weeks with a teacher of philosophy at our faculty, Vladan Klemens. So we spend first 4 weeks writing, thinking about the problem, and then we start designing. So when in 5th week, Ivana Vinčová and Martin Rosa going to join us to get you a feedback about BIM designing. And also we cooperate with Stanislav Hyber, who's a doctoral student and he's a landscape architect. So that's our team. So don't worry and join us. Join the waste. And you are invited to come to our studio today when the presentation for you and for the Czech students are finished. So we're supposed to be at 5 o'clock, but you can come earlier. I think we're gonna be there at least 30 minutes before. So thank you for your attention.
Hello, everybody, welcome. My name is Petr Kordovský, and I'll try to lure you into our studio, Kordovský Vrbata. Mr. Vrbata is my long-time friend and classmate, and we try to present another part of our long-time series, Strange Places, which we like to help us solve. This time we are on the northwest part of Prague, on the outskirts of Prague, and so-called Brandeis Estate, which is a small castle in a very bad state in Prague 6. The name Brandeis belongs to this guy who was a very important art lover and guy who helped Czech artists of the so-called National Theatre generation in the last third of the 19th century. The place is on the very outskirts of Greater Prague. It used to be a very small hamlet with the castle, and which is this place, and especially this place, and the whole estate is this. And what we want to prepare here is to help renew this rather derelict building, which is a natural center of the city, of the former village, Suchdol, which in fact is divided into three parts. One is the old Suchdol, the natural born village. The other one is the new village dating back to between the wars. And then there is 1/3 of the whole area is dedicated to the Czech Agricultural University. The city doesn't know where they have a center, one in front of the university, the other one is here, other one is here, the old one is here. There is no secondary school. There are problems with the social care for the old people, etc. So what we want to do is to find ideas. And this is the city master plan, where you can find our place here. And there is one part of the Prague Ring highway, which we saw 2 presentations ago. And we do not want you to design something very old-fashioned. We want to bring fresh ideas, not only in this area, but also in surrounding greenery places, and to find a modern solution. The place looks like that, but besides that, there are some newly reconstructed parts. This is the old garage for horse carriages, but the rest is in a very bad state. What are we going to design here? It can be a high school or art school, and everything else what you can see here. And we are open to modern solutions, not only brushing the old ones. You can design almost everything what's possible to study in your case, and we would be very happy if you join us. The other issue we are solving this semester is a design and build project in Opava, but it will definitely overspill to holidays, so I'm not very sure whether it's a good idea. So, see you today in our studio 743 after the presentations at 5 p.m. and or in next days according to real situations. Thank you very much.
Vojtík. Prosím? Vy jste z ateliéru Vojtík. Jo, takže v pořádku.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Šimon Vojtík. I'm head of the studio, and this is Jan Záhora, assistant. And we are a studio which aims aiming to urban design assignments, topics. So it will be the same in this semester. And our topic is Northern Gate of Prague, because Prague is great, big north-south highway, expressway. We call it Magistrala. It's this line. And there is plenty of topics around that which are being solved, or at least trying to for the decades on this school. And this semester we are focusing on the northern Prague, because there is a lot of questions and topics around this. For example, how to solve the entrance to the city of this artery or this traffic artery, where highway ends and street begins, or if anywhere actually. What it should like in the beginning and in the very center of Prague. So our topic is to change the expressway or highway to urban boulevard, if it's possible. Make clear definition of beginning and end of the highway and streets. And make generous design without barriers, and make urban character and local centers there. As we said, the northern part of this highway, this gateway, let's say, looks like this today. It's at Stříčkov area. And the name of this street, it's a real street, it's Liberecká, and it's merely a name because it's not a street at all. It's still a high-speed road, and it's creating a barrier, very impassable, between Prosek and Jáblice districts. It's this part, you see, this is the highway, and this is the north gate to the Prague, and this was the first place of the what we do. There is a second place I will show later. It's this one. It's we call it second gate. It's in the junction of Vychovatelná and Liberecká Street, and it's actually the main entrance to the city center. And it looks like this. Still, it's still a highway road, not a street, and it's this down position. So between these two gateways, north one and south one, we will be making our design. And what we do, or what will we do? The goal of assignment is propose a connection between residential riverbanks, as we call it, and overcome the barrier of this highway, and create appropriate entrances to the city and a new local center in this down position. So what we do is to sew the city together and heal the scar after this barrier, and use the potential and transform the periphery into a vibrant living neighborhood. And we can do it in conceptual way or realistic, visionary or down to earth. We can make it green, or we can make it very depressive way. It's on you and on us. So let's come to our studio. It's room number 305. Yes, it's third floor of this building, and we have also meeting here today around or after 5 p.m. and also tomorrow at 11, I guess. Yeah, 11 in the morning. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Marques. I'm teaching with Vladimir Krátký. And I'll start with this image, which is from a movie from 1927, Metropolis, by the German avant-garde director Fritz Lang. The reason I start with this is because this defines the spirit of the early 20th century. It's a period of extreme creativity, experimentation, adventure. In fact, it's exactly, paradoxically, it's completely the opposite of where we are today. This is a fantastical sort of image. It has flying planes, it has elevated car bridges crashing into buildings. And there are two main reasons why I'm starting with this image. The first is because of the program. And our program is a film school. It's a film school with student housing, so it has some sort of a reference to Walter Gropius, Bauhaus. So it's a program where fantasy and reality some sort of merge. But the second reason is the context, which is very specific in our case. So this is the red dot. This is the position of our site. It's across an intersection of three Pragues, Prague 2, Vinohrady, Prague 10, Vršovice, and Prague 3, Žižkov. And it's defined by three empty urban blocks. It's an absence, basically. And the reason for this is because of a presence, a hidden presence of two reservoir water tanks. Can I have do you know where I can have this red dot? Yeah, is there? Okay. Yeah. And our site is basically this one block, which we want to develop. And one of the things that you can see right away is that our site is highly specific in the sense that the dashed lines are the lines where you cannot build or you cannot put any vertical support. So we are basically limited. By a. This doesn't work. Okay, but by a very narrow peripheral belt. So this is the cross section. So we are looking. The top is we are looking to develop the urban block. On the right or on the left are the typical urban blocks for that area. The middle image are the limitations. You cannot basically build on it. You cannot put any weight on it because of the tank, of this water tank. And the last image are the possibilities or the opportunities that this project can offer to you, which is an atypical structural solution. This is the street view, and now you can see the name of the project is Flybox. And so there will be a box flying on top of this water tank. We want to keep all the urban, let's say, regulations. We want to keep the building eave from the adjacent buildings. But of course, we want to explore this sort of very unusual, almost fantastical scenario. And these are three possibilities of how to approach structurally this project. One is a suspension, which is on the left. These are examples from Louis Kahn, which is quite an unusual example because Louis Kahn is thought of as a compression sort of an architecture, brick. But you can see this is a very modern project in Venice where Louis Kahn spans one of the canals. The other one is Oscar Niemeyer, obviously very avant-garde, very experimental Brazilian architect. On the far right, it's the opposite. It's a compression sort of a strategy. That means there is a superstructure on spanning the site, and you are building putting the forms on top of that structure. And the middle is a hybrid. The middle is an in-between condition where the program is inserted in the middle of the superstructure. So this is a project where you have to explore this sort of a symbiotic relationship between form, structure, and the program. The last image is the Cornell School of Architecture by Rem Koolhaas, and this is an example of a program inside a structure. So the students are, you can see there's a series of very deep structural beams, and the studios are in this space. Because of the scale of this project, we can imagine this being a team project of 2 people or an individual project. And if you are interested in joining our studio, we are meeting, like everyone today, we are meeting at 5 o'clock in room 704. So thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Šrámek, and I'm part of the pair Lábus Šrámek in studio 706. So here you see our assignments for summer semester. We are offering 2 kinds of garden restaurant, one in the Botanical Garden of Prague and the other in Malešecký Park. The second assignment is a kindergarten and a house for elderly in Připotočín, Prague 10, and the last one is the student dormitory in a very narrow place in the Tichý, Prague 2. So here you see the locations. All sites are in Prague. The garden restaurant number 1 is surrounded by the botanical garden. Here you may see what is important, speaking about this first assignment. And here there is a botanical garden, and we are speaking about this location with a very perfect view over Prague and with already existing lookout tower, like sculpture here. You may see it here. So this is one very quiet nature place. The other is in a city, so-called. It's a well-organized postmodern park. And there is a location on the top of the park where there is a site for, again, garden restaurant, but with lookout tower, possibly. You see that this is very urbanized place surrounded by the city. So it's about the first assignment. The second one is speaking about kindergarten, the house for elderly, which is in Prague, Vršovice. We are speaking about this location here, and the site is now covered by park, green. And this is the gymnasium, and this is the logopedic school, and this is housing, and so on. So you may see it's a small kindergarten for 4 classes, and the size of the house for elderly depends on you. And the last assignment is speaking about very narrow place in center of Prague, surrounded by church and another house for students, and it's a very special place for special purpose, for special architecture. Let's say it's really a very narrow place. So we will welcome you today, tonight, today afternoon, and the second meeting is this Thursday afternoon. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, hi. So my name is Marques, and this is Barbara Šindlerová, and we're the studio assistants to Vinnie Maas Studio, and we'll hand over the word to these two guys who are in Rotterdam.
Hello, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear us well?
Yes.
Thumbs up. Thanks. All right. Quick words. I understand we don't have a lot of time. So my name is Leo Stuckert, and I'm here with Jaka Korla. We're based in Rotterdam, but we will meet you regularly in Prague. And can't wait to be there in person. We will very briefly introduce the topic of the upcoming studio. For that, I will share the screen. So let's begin. So the Wine Factory is a think tank that was started around more than 10 years ago here in Delft with the mission to explore the future of cities. So the initial manifesto called for visionary cities, and we're interested to explore how different aspects such as mobility, biodiversity, ownership, and many more will impact our future cities. We do that both in theoretical or non-applied studios, where we explore systems more, and in case studies and in applied studios. The upcoming studio will follow into the second category, and we'll show that, start to describe it now. We're also building on initial research that was developed with CTU, with Archiv, and also here in Delft on the level of the Czech Republic on a national level. We will zoom in now in the upcoming semester into the city of Prague. We think it's a beautiful opportunity to take the lessons learned from the national level and apply them on this level of the city, which in a way makes things tangible, no? Where we can start to talk about space, where we can actually give shape and also design on a master planning level. We'll begin this introduction now. Prague next with a short word from the professor Vinnie Maas.
Welcome everybody. Last year we made CZ2, the dream for a country, that is now traveling and opening in Brno this Thursday. And now we start with a studio on Prague 2, or better, Prague next. What will be the capital of the future? We start to compare that with other cities. Is it greener than Amsterdam? Is it more sustainable than Stockholm? Is it growing more than other cities? And that leads to scenarios. A Prague which has more inhabitants, 1 million extra, where to position them, that is greener and how to do that, that has more solar energy than ever and where to put that, that has no cars and how to then with mobility, and that might be also even the capital of Europe when replacing Brussels to here. I hope that you would like to join this series of dreams that we will model and that we will show to the audience and to the public. Hopefully till soon.
Good. So in broad terms, we already see there are a lot of questions being asked, a lot of directions and possibilities. Obviously, cities are complex, they're living systems, so how can we even begin to understand them? How can we understand where we came from and how past decisions and developments shape the city as it is today? How the idea of heritage and memory keeps also determining the presence through preservation strategies, through value systems that are created, to tourism and so on. And of course, how we can understand also in such a research the impact of visions, whether they manifested in reality or not, the platform of discussion on current planned developments, and of course outlooks into all possible futures of the city, where there are many. What layers then define the city, and how can we work in groups? How can we unpack this complex construct into individual aspects that we can understand? This is an initial list that's already long. We will be all curious to see, we develop with the participants of the studio, which of these elements are interesting. Maybe there are more, maybe some of these can be ignored, so it's a non-exhaustive list. And how will we do that then? I think the main thing to highlight on the nature of the Y Factory, quick disclaimer, both Jaka and me studied a while ago in studios of the Y Factory. I think the unique opportunity is that it's a collective project. So the brief will be developed by all participants together. You can see yourself really more like a small practice or like a think tank than the kind of more conventional model of developing alternative design proposals throughout the course in smaller groups. At the same time, we will develop different expertises. So within this large collective work, we will develop a process that combines research, that combines different forms of visualization and narrative, and we'll show some examples in a second, in this large construct that we call the city maker. So as you can see here, we will aim for a very systematic approach towards that goes from research into proposals, into design scenarios, and into their evaluations, but also giving space within this for intuitive design responses and particular interests that each of you can bring in on a personal level. We will begin small. We'll kick off the studio with a 4-day workshop at the Defur Palace in Prague, trying to understand the role of the city museum. So how can a city provide a space that can inform people or an audience about how it works, about where it's headed, and so on. We're interested in this from the perspective of tourists, but also, maybe more importantly, even from the perspective of citizens and people who occupy and shape the city. So a museum as a platform. We will then go on to collect, and I'm showing a kind of diverse set of references here from previous work, both at the Y Factory as well as at MBRDB and MBRDB Next, which is a group and also an expertise that Jaka and me will bring into this. So there will be a focus on information, on data, on quantifiable aspects of the city, simply because that's a part that we develop strongly within MBRDB. But we're also interested in the maybe more subjective. So in this case, for example, we collect information, can be journalism, can be articles, can be photographs of the city, social media, but also, of course, top-down cadastre and planning information. We will then map, measure, and compare. Critical element, Vinny Maas already mentioned it in the video, understanding or concluding on all this work of data collection. We will visualize and come up with new forms of engaging visual narratives that can communicate all this research to experts as well as, I guess, the general public. We will imagine on top of that, we'll create a world of multiple worlds, ideas of a future Prague. And again, the key aspect here, one of the key questions is probably how can that be communicated? How can that become immersive, suggestive, and how can we visualize this dream? We will also evaluate these aspects. We will measure and count again. We will attempt the challenge of quantifying impact. And lastly, we will tell stories of future Prague. It should be a narrative or multiple narratives how we get to this point. Key facts of the studio. So it will run over 14 weeks, starting in the end of February very soon. We'll meet on Monday afternoons and Friday afternoons. I think there's an exception once or twice because of national holidays to this. There's a general structure. The studio will be focusing on, it's a collective work. The outcome will be shared, but everyone will have the opportunity to build their own specialisms within this. Tutors or faculty, of course, will be led by Vinny Maas, and then our team of Jaka and me will try to be there more or less once a week, and Barbara and Mikael on site regularly. Key studio dates kick off on the 19th, and the 4-day workshop that very much looking forward at the Defur Palace. Midterm and final TBC to be confirmed, but that's the plan for now. We want to end just by saying how excited we are by bringing a relatively, maybe also foreign perspective as two people who have never lived in Prague, and maybe with this open quote of John Hajduk, who writes about Prague as Prague's mysterious presence or presence produces in one's body and soul the taste of or for the meanings of life and death. Architectural sounds in deep perspective, warping within spirals, forward dart upon the frame of time ellipses, fold in upon density, silently awaking. To breathe in Prague's architecture is breathe in the air of eternity. So we're very much hoping to have you join us. This was, of course, a very condensed form that we will unpack then in the first weeks of the studio. We see a lot of opportunity and very excited to join. Thank you.
It's just a quick announcement. If you guys are interested in joining us, you can come see me and Michal in Studio 649 after these presentations.
Okay, so hi. I'm here to invite you to our studio, which is slightly different than those that were before because it's a landscape studio. I am the assistant, my name is Clara, and the head of the studio is still Rehwaldt, who's a landscape architect from Dresden. He's skiing now, so he looks maybe like this. And yeah, I should be standing here. Because yeah, that's me. As I said, we are working on landscape, but if I ask you what is landscape, maybe most of you would say that something green in there, but we see it as like basically everything that is not those small concrete boxes that we gladly leave to architects. So we are trying to change the landscape of these days because, yeah, as you can see that it's a bit nicer when it's changing, and we are working with the cycles as not only like the year, but also the life cycle of the things that are alive. That's the characteristic of our job. I know that most of you are architects, so we also do some mini lectures to explain how to work with the projects and how to elaborate, so it's not so difficult. And we do public presentations also on the places where we work, so you have a feedback from the people who live there and who work there also, which is important, I'd say. And we do excursions, and we also go to Kruh, which is a cottage like this, and we do a workshop for 4 days like that. And it's not only about working, of course, it's also about drinking beer. And yeah, about the topics, this semester we will be in Tábor, which is a small town in South Bohemia. And it's famous for its history, like medieval history of its sites and stuff. And there are several scales of the topics that we offer. First is like really big scale, but we take it as quite an open one that you can basically specify what you will be working on. But it's conceptual ideas about different topics in the city and around it. Meaning, for example, green infrastructure, or like the concept of playgrounds, or other topics that are a pain of the city. Then other topic is a bit, let's say, conceptual also, but more detailed, because it would be working on a street which goes through the whole city, and the adjacent public spaces that are like stick next to it. It's a large street that today looks like not really pleasant, and we would like to change this. Also, these are some of the spaces that are interesting, and there are very, very many important buildings, but it looks like not really inviting. So another one, it's a middle scale topic. It's a park which is in the center of the new town in Tábor, and it's also connected to the two stations in Tábor, the train station and the bus station, which is not really nice either. So that would be the other one. Then there's another one which is interesting. That is a center of like, let's say, housing estate in the suburbs of Tábor, which is now not like really center. It doesn't work like this, and there are many weird buildings around, and it's kind of strange space without character and with no special identity. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, there's a lot of traffic and stuff, and it's all gray and a lot of concrete and so on. And the last one is a small square, which was recently reconstructed, but the people are not very happy about it. It came out from the competition in 2012, and there's a lot of conflicts around it, and the city is interested in having some other ideas about the space. Yeah, this is how it, on the left there's how it looks now, and on the right how it looked before the reconstruction. Yes. Okay, so that's all from me, and if you would like to work on some outdoor stuff, so come meet us in the afternoon in the studio.
Okay, thank you. Here's a studio of Sitta, Chmelová.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vladimír Sitta, and my assistant, Adela Chmelová. We got together in Prague. I haven't known Adela until I came to Prague, because I spent most of my life not in this country, but in Australia, namely in Sydney. So my perspective of problems and other things is more global than what you would expect to be, usually Czechs can't look deeper than at the belly button. So I think we have to see the world in the perspective, and as you know, we are experiencing signs of Anthropocene, and we don't like it very much, but we are cause of it. So I think whatever we do, we should see in the context of our activities and so on, and the responsibility is on each individual. It's not on the government, as you would see. Well, this attitude, which we can see around the world, can't go on. It doesn't mean that, if we pretend to be ostriches, we don't see anything from the problems of the world. So the problems are not definitely confined to the Czech Republic, and so are not our projects. And you can see around the world, Kyoto, Paris, Sydney as well. I participated once in a sustainability city conference. People flew there from Brazil. I don't know, the carbon footprint must be enormous. And the result of our meeting was virtually zero. So this is a modus operandi which can't go on. And it's a responsibility for virtually your generation, because my generation, it's probably not reformable. Our office was very international, and so we try to introduce this culture or keep this culture also in our studio. So definitely views from students from around the world are quite often very refreshing and bring new perspectives to the studio. We have very few rules. Somebody said, it's a chaos, studio chaos. It's a modus operandi as well, if you wish. But definitely, we encourage students to experiment. But remember, only one take is not enough. One take means you just bring one design and think this is a work of genius, and it has to, it's perfect. It's not. It's the most fun you have when you think about the problem, when your hand is drawing what your brain is actually intuitively producing and so on. So the alternatives are important, and this is a journey which is the most fun you can have in any projects. Well, for me, this is also an important modus operandi. Quite often, you have to break and bend rules in order to achieve some unexpected results. Everything, of course, requires certain diligence. So that's why I have this kind of warning there, don't blush, because some students, especially Erasmus students, think that Prague is a wonderful place where to travel to other cities in Europe. It's not. You are here to work, please remember. The studio is quite international. You can see that some of those students on the picture are now very successful architects in their own countries. And the studio is definitely very multicultural because I'm used to it. Sydney, it's a place of 126 different nations, so you can imagine how it's a melting pot of different cultures. And this so-called predominance of Anglo-Saxon culture doesn't exist there. So I think monocultures are definitely very detrimental to any place. We have few challenges. One of them is to live under the bridge. And the bridges in the world are occupying enormous amount of space. Yet, some of them are producing habitable places. And coincidentally, it's an international competition. So you can choose the bridge anywhere in the world. Of course, we are here to assist you. We can pinpoint some places in Prague which could be exploited for this purpose as well. And the other place, Jindřichův Hradec, it's in South Bohemia. It's a lovely historical town of about 20,000 inhabitants. It's a place which is very connected with water. You can't imagine Jindřichův Hradec without water, but it's a terra incognita for the architects, virtually untouched place. And only recently they are discovering things like contemporary architecture and generally the profession as the architecture. They have newly appointed city architect or town architect. I think that the word city probably doesn't coincide, it's not proper for this place. It's definitely a place which haven't been touched much by the architects. So it's up to you. You are there, you would go there to produce a diagnosis. Yet, I do. Last one, it's in Mola. You probably know it. It's a place of F1 races, but it's also a historical town. Because I'm pressed for time, this, I think, graphics talks for itself. I had more comments in the studio. The mission, we beckon the students, especially visionaries amongst them, to reimagine these spaces, to transform spaces under bridges into dynamic, thriving communities. And you can see what could happen there. I have no time to read it, but of course it's available on the website too. It's very holistic project. So you shouldn't think it's a dreadful space, as you would see, of course, on some of those pictures. They are real. This is in India, you know, like unfortunate people. It's only a boat they have. And again, India. But this is also in Prague. Prague has a lot of homeless people who camp under this big viaduct. And it's not far from here. Not very well known for the architects because they prefer to do some very art galleries, etc. But those undesirables. But you can combine things: scaffolding, modular systems, as well. some examples. This one is from our work, the bottom, it's in the Sydney, but of course the place could be made habitable. Jindřich or Hradec, you can see it's not far from Prague, but 1.5 hours by train. A lot of opportunities over there. I leave it for a few minutes so you can actually absorb it. I can't actually address each of them, but side visit, we would go there on 1st of March, and we secured also presence of Lord Mayor and city architect. And you can see it's a really lovely time, that very intimate connection with the water, yet they don't exploit or they don't explore the element of water in sufficient way. So this is the main square, of course, usually dominated by cars and so on. So, you know, to find the spots, of course, would be really up to you. That's why we kept that brief very open, because we could say easily, you know, you do the square and so on, but that would be too easy. And the last project, it's Imola Urban Acupuncture. It's in collaboration with University Reggio di Calabria, students of Professor Valerio Morabito. And we planned a visit between 14th of March, but we discovered that the air tickets are actually cheaper at the beginning of April, so I think we might postpone the visit a little bit. Imola, again, typical, very dense Italian town, and somehow has to coexist with F1 Formula. And also, you know, you probably know Ayrton Senna, who killed, who died at Imola plant. And of course, this movement and so on is part of the festival. It's ingrained in the spirit of the place, but sometimes the river comments on human activities, and then the whole city is flooded. So there's a whole range of problems connected with it. This is a place which not many of your universities have. It's a country retreat. We go there on 18th of April to 21st of April, and whoever would join our studio, we expect them to go with us because we do it for you. We are not doing it for ourselves. And you can see a lot of problems are solved there, which you think are not really solvable. And like this one, you can see how many architects can fit in such a small space. And maybe we can actually better that record, because who said we need a lot of private space? That's rubbish. Homo ludens is very important for us. And you can see, I think this is quite succinct. That's a studio of philosophy. And if you want to find more or just see what's happening there, we definitely would open our arms for you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Prague. Who is here for the first time? About 50%. Okay, great. My name is Henry Achten. Together with Katarzyna Sýsová and Jiří Pavlíček, we lead the design studio Achten Pavlíček Sýsová. And we have a couple of assignments for you. What maybe many people of you don't know, this is our building, that we are sharing the third floor of this building with the Faculty of Information Technology. And the building which is right next door to this one also belongs to this faculty. It's a really big faculty, more than 2,500 students. But they don't have their own building. And CTU is going to change that. So there is a plot reserved for this new building, which you can see our building over there in the top right corner. So it's really nearby, a couple of 100 meters walking from here. So on this side, the new faculty building for information technology will be planned. Of course, big question is, how do you design a building for students of information technology? We being architects, how do we analyze that? And one of the things that we always start with in design studio is the first part of analysis of the typology of these kinds of buildings. And this is one of the buildings that we will refer to for sure. It's the Columbia University building for medical research and education, which has a very interesting new typology of spaces, co-working labs, learning spaces, meeting spaces that I think is very useful and inspiring for this kind of building that we are going to design. The second assignment that we offer in this studio is the Serpentine Pavilion, very well known, I suppose. So who of you guys, girls, is from the UK? Couple, okay. Have you seen Serpentine Pavilion once? Okay, then you know a bit what it is. So the Serpentine Gallery, it's in Hyde Park in London. It invites roughly every year an architect, not from the UK, who has never realized a building in the UK, to design a pavilion for a limited period, about 3 months, to be visited by people. So here are just a few images of projects that were done before. Sue Fujimoto, Bjarke Ingels, Sana Architects, and Olafur Eliasson and Kjetil Thorsen. Serpentine Pavilion is an ideal moment to experiment, also to take a position for yourself as an architect concerning material research, contemporary questions in architecture, parametric design, and so on. So we have the meeting today at 5 o'clock in our studio. It's room 203. We will have structural engineer as an advisor, Elmar Hess from Austria. We work with virtual reality, Grasshopper, 3D printing, and so on. And now I give the word to Katarzyna for the next assignments that are possible.
I will not let it to the ground this time. So, hello, welcome. We are part of the studio with a small assignment, voluntary, which has half of the credits that you can achieve. And we called it 10 million armchair. I will send you pieces of the cladding. We work this time with paper. So one of the tasks is to recycle paper from Saska company. They have to collect winning lottery tickets. They have to save them, and they have like tons of the lottery tickets which won a prize, which might be 10 crowns, might be 100 crowns, might be 1,000, but they have to save all of them. So there is really millions of money in it, which they have to keep back, and then after some time they want to recycle it into new products. So we would like to use this paper and either work with the paper as is, make some desks from it. We just don't know now. We will experiment because we are experimental design studio a little bit. And or we will put mycelium in it, which is the desks I have set here, which is a mushroom which connects the paper pieces together, and it kind of results in quite firm materials. So our first task is doing the paper and working with it as it is, as paper. The second task is to put the mycelium inside and design interior with paper with mycelium. This is the one. And we would like to equip a small pavilion, which is almost, it's not existing, but it's been so far quite designed. But the interior is absolutely empty. So the task will be to equip this interior with this paper interior, connect it with the mushroom like that, or with winning losses as they were when they were given to us to recycle. So we are working with luck, actually, with luck of people. Yeah, I think this is better. The meeting is the same at 5 o'clock in 203. My colleague will come there to give you more information to both of these tasks. But as this is a small experimental task, it will take time on Thursdays, only in the afternoon after the big studios. So usually we start Thursdays after 4 o'clock. Oh, this is it. Yeah. Last information I didn't say. We are a lot into 3D printing, but we will take part in the Reborn Design competition, which works with the recycled materials, not only paper, but also some plastics. Sometimes it has some pieces of some glass. It depends, but this time we have three different materials to work with, and you will get like more specific info about this in the afternoon.
Thanks.
Cože? Okay, so we are not the last. So this is my colleague David Tichý, and my name is Michal Kohout, and together we represent a studio, obviously made, whose name is composed from ours. Their name is Kohout Tichý, and our task for the summer semester is pretty much similar to what we usually do. That is, we choose a town and a municipality, and we are trying to kind of collaborate. We are trying with the municipality, with the people from the political representation, but also to meet the local people, and to make ourselves and our students kind of familiar with the challenges which are facing that particular community. And this semester we had chosen a town of 30,000 inhabitants in sort of south of Prague, which is called Písek, which means sand in Czech. And that's because there was a sand which, like gold like bearing sand, was found in the place, in the river Otava. It's like a left confluence of Vltava, and so we will work on this historical city. It's a beautiful place with a beautiful historical center, but there are also neglected places, obviously, in the town, and there are vacant places where the municipality is thinking of building. So we want to kind of check if and how that can be done. And also there is the river and the embankments, which are also partly neglected. So we will be working on that. And of course, there are other infrastructural problems, such as with the traffic. The city is, or the town is now within an hour distance if you travel by car from Prague. So it's basically somewhere on the verge of like a daily commuting possibility. So some people from that city commute. And there is a highway which is being built already for ages from Prague towards Písek, which will soon be finished. So that is also that will kind of, there is an expected development connected with that, but also it brings some challenges to the city. So so there are like several different tasks. Ranging from town planning, like new town planning, redevelopment, town planning, but also singular buildings, which we can sort of find in either within these larger developments or as a separate project. And there we have a kind of a method, a design method, which we've put in writing, and it's called Planning of a Town. And unfortunately, it's only in Czech, but it's full of pictures, which are international. And so we are using that method. And we also have part of that is, as I was saying already before, is collaborating with the municipality and its representatives or political representation. We also are planning a workshop at the end of February, actually very soon, when we will go there on Friday to present the analytical work which is supposed to be done before already, and also meet the locals and do the initial design there on the site. And then we have 4 presentations during, like 3 in the semester, and then the last one, which kind of mark the different stages of the design. And we also do, at the end of the semester, we do a small exhibition there on the site, when the locals are kind of invited, and some of the students are presenting there. And then we've done already several of those, and these are from different towns and cities in Czech Republic. So it's always quite, I would say, amusing or fun. And it opens certain discussions or questions which usually the city often does not want to, or which is sensitive, and maybe the city doesn't want to tackle it, or they don't even, are maybe even not aware of them sometimes. And they but by means of introducing our student project, which is an academic task that opens the possibility to talk about these issues. So it's quite interesting for the people, at least for us, definitely, and I hope that for the students as well, or we hope. So this is from our the last exhibition we had in September in the small town of Tábor. Okay, so I guess that's basically it. We are working or trying to sort of implement in our work the principles of sustainable development, as we kind of believe in connecting our work with the sort of broader issues of the profession and of like social issues in general. So if anyone is interested, we kind of will welcome you at our studio in at 550 at 5 o'clock. So it's like 3 5s and 1 0. Okay, so that's it. I don't know if you want something to add something. Okay. So thank you. That's it.
Good afternoon. My name is Císler. I had a studio with Mirek Pazdera. I was asked to give a presentation too. The thing is, actually, there's a small problem that we already have roughly 120 applicants for 24 places in the studio. So it's a problem to solve this anyhow. We would like to draw a house of sport in the center of Prague. This is the island of Kampa, the green one. And there is an old sports facility called Tesařův dům. And there's this parking place in the middle. That's our plot. And yeah, there's some text about it. Never mind. The topic is house for sport. And this is the picture of the original house. And the meeting of the studio with signing of the applications will be at today at 5 p.m. In studio number 546. So if you like it, you are invited. Thank you very much.
Okay, and the last studio is Studio Hájek Hulín. Unfortunately, they can't be here, but I will show you the presentation, and you will see an email to which you can write to join the studio, okay? The first assignment is about the dam called Háje, Flyer, sorry. That's it. Okay, the other one is housing estate, block of flats in Mladá Boleslav, which is a central Bohemian town. Oh, okay, and the third one, I'm not sure, it's about telephone station. Okay, so if you want to join the studio, I was asked to tell you where you can join them. It's in room 703, and there is also an email you can write to if you are interested in this studio, okay? So thank you. And at the same time, this is the end of today's presentations. So definitely good luck with your studies. And if there is some problem or if you want to contact me with some issues, you can. I am in room 147, and you can come within office hours or contact me on an email. Good luck.
Za pár minut mi něco řekneš?
Jo, tak ty vůbec
ne, dobře, ne, tak to já jsem... Ne, tak hodně hezky to proběhlo, všechno tady vlastně